we've had now 2 of the Republican election observers who had been removed from the ballot counting watch area because they refused to wear a mask. And the auditor in Island County had made a masking rule. This is just in the November election. Yes, in 2024, there was a masking rule. And so Tim and Tracy had declined to wear masks, and they were escorted out of that room by law enforcement. And as you know, because we've talked about it on the show, they are now, well, Tim has already been charged with a felony. Tracy has been threatened to be charged with a felony, which is already on its face insane. And then you add in the fact that the prosecutor, Greg Banks, in Island County has a long track record of posting insane things about Republicans and Trump supporters on his social media pages. In fact, he had been called out for it publicly a couple years ago in the news, and now he thinks it's no big deal because, well, I deleted my Facebook account, but in case you need a reminder, he had compared Trump supporters to the KKK. He said Republicans are racist bullies with second-grade intellects, said we need to cleanse society of their diseased thinking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the whole premise of everything is insane. Today, the Silent Majority Foundation has filed a lawsuit on behalf of really Washingtonians, I would argue, but on behalf of those 3 Republican election observers. We haven't talked about a third one of them. So they filed this in Superior Court for the state of Washington in Island County. Tim Hazelow, Tracy Abel, and James Peterson are the plaintiffs, and it is versus Island County, Washington, and Sheila Kreider in her official capacity as Island County auditor. So, and also, by the way, Gregory Banks is named in this in his official capacity as Island County prosecuting attorney. So, in a nutshell, the Silent Majority Foundation says the case challenges the authority of Island County officials to impose a mask mandate on ballot observers. Plaintiffs argue that the rule issued by defendant Kreider and supported by the Island County Canvassing Board exceeds the authority granted under Washington law and election regulations. So they're not filing a lawsuit in essence that would stop or intervene in the felony charges against Tim Hazelow, the possible felony charges against Tracy Abel. They're not defending them per se, but in a way they are. So what they're getting at the heart of is they don't believe that WAC, the administrative code, or anything in Washington state law gives the Island County auditor the authority to institute what is essentially a health regulation, to say you have to wear masks if you want to be an election observer. So the question then would become, if a court rules that the auditor didn't have the authority to mandate masks in the first place, then do the criminal cases against these election observers go away? You would think they would have to. Now, the Island County prosecutor seems dead set on moving forward with felony cases, thinks he's totally righteous. He wrote it to us in a long email about why this case is justified, and essentially he is a protector of democracy, doesn't have to recuse himself, even though he clearly hates Republicans and everything they stand for and wants to rid the nation of their diseased thinking. So I give a lot of credit to the Silent Majority Foundation for stepping up on this one. And this is a case that could have some wide-reaching implications. I mean, the mask nonsense isn't done in Washington state. Not by a long stretch. I mean, this was just 3 months ago, well past the pandemic, when the auditor in Island County said, yeah, you've got to wear masks. Like long past when we realized that especially those kind of masks weren't going to really do a whole lot. Not to mention that there's video evidence that there were individuals allowed in that room without masks on after Tracy Abel was escorted out. And the officers who came in to escort out both Tim and Tracy weren't wearing masks, so why were they allowed in the ballot counting area without masks on? So there's a lot of inconsistencies. There's clear lawfare at play here. But let's start with, and as the Silent Majority Foundation is trying to do, let's start at the very beginning of this. All this stuff that's happened since, let's start at the very beginning. Did they have the lawful authority to require these election observers to wear a mask? If the answer is no, then it seems like everything, the fruit of the poisonous tree, everything that came after that would be sort of null and void. One would only hope.